Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my second video and my first ever with voiceover. What I'm doing here today is a real life inspired build. This is Dakota Johnson's mid-century mansion. So recently she did a tour, an open house with Architectural Digest, and I don't know, I really loved the house, loved the style. There was a lot of clutter. I spent a lot of time researching it because I wanted to get it really accurate to what she'd achieved. So yeah, I managed to find out a lot about the house, even the original owners way before she bought it. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to recreate. It was really difficult because there wasn't a huge amount of information, and even though she does the house tour with Architectural Digest and there was videos and an article, they didn't go through every room. There wasn't a floor plan, so trying to work that out was difficult. But I think I got there, and I think I got a pretty accurate representation of what's there with some artistic license. So the video's quite long. It's over 30 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to talk for that long, just because I don't know if there's that much to talk about, but also I absolutely hate recording my voice. But I felt with this one, because it was a real life one, it would be worth doing the voiceover, and just explain why I was doing things and what I found out about the house. But yeah, 30 minutes is a bit much for me to be talking at this time, so I might cut short and put some music on in the background. But yeah, so what at the moment there, I'm currently trying to do a skylight that she had in the kitchen, and that was really, really difficult to do. In the end, I didn't even like how it looked in the screenshots. But yeah, I really wanted to recreate that effect, even though, like I said, it didn't seem worth it when I saw the screenshots in the kitchen. But that's what I'm currently trying to do. So the house was built, I think, in 1947 by an architect called Carl Maston, and this is where he actually lived in Hollywood. And I was able to find, I think, the original floor plans and designs that he did for this home, and it seems to have been extended since, because there's a lot missing from what was featured in the video in Architectural Digest. So yeah, I think there was an extension. I'm not sure who owned it directly after him, but I know before Dakota Johnson bought it, it was owned by Ryan Murphy, who did Glee and American Horror Story, Nip Tuck, those sort of shows. So yeah, and the style, managed to find some pictures of when Ryan Murphy lived there, but the style that Dakota Johnson is decorated with is really different. And the main reason that I even wanted to do the speed build was because I love the interior design. She used an interior design firm called Pearson Ward. I'll link down below their Instagram page. But yeah, as you'll see that she has a lot of clutter in the place, which I personally love using in my Sims build. I really prefer them cluttered. So that was quite interesting to try and recreate all the different items that she had. Where I am now in the build is her office, where she said that she reads scripts. There's lots and lots of books. There's in fact lots of books throughout the build entirely, and then there's lots of artwork, and again, that's something that features in every room. So yeah, it was quite interesting, like where I'm doing the lamp here, trying to do something a bit different to get ones accurate to the ones in the photo. So I'm mixing vases with the lamps, and the paintings that I've used. I'm pretty sure all of them are by SimSationalToo on the gallery. Again, I'll put her details below. But I'm pretty sure that now if you use them in your build, it will be flagged as CC, just based on the recent patch, which is quite annoying because I love using no CC custom artwork. can make a difference in the builds, especially when you've got a lot of rooms to do, and you want things to be unique in every room. But yeah, some of the ones that come with the packs can be quite limiting. Again, doing more clutter, more books on these shelves here. As you can see, I stopped trying to make them look each section of book look unique, and then just did them all the same colour. She had a few awards on the shelves, so I sized down some of the decorative items to look smaller like awards. And then she also pointed out a Barb from Stranger Things Funko Pop, so I put one of the My Sims in to look sort of like that. And then yeah, for the cabinets I used the island living kitchen units, and then more clutter on top. Yeah, lots of artwork, lots of clutter. So yeah, it's quite a detailed build, and that's why it took a long time just trying to get it accurate. And I'm generally quite a slow builder anyway. I really deliberate over everything I put in, every swatch, and then alternate back and forth between sometimes the same two items, trying to work out what's the best one to use. So yeah, really slow builder anyway, let alone when there's a lot of detail like this. And especially since, although I've been playing The Sims since Sims 1, when I was a teen, I'm quite new to Sims 4. I only first got it in November last year, so I'm still familiarising myself with the packs and where things are. And although I've gotten quite a few packs in the time that I've had Sims 4, I don't have them all, and I definitely don't know where everything is all the time, what I'm looking for, what to search for, but I'm getting there. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm really slow. So I've moved on now in the build to the living area, and I took a long time deliberating how to do her side table. I ended up using two of the bowling night stuff pack, reversed them and put them side by side, overlapping to create that look. It still doesn't look exactly how I wanted it to, or what she's got, but with what I had pack wise, it's the best I could do. But yeah, that was something else. I went through so many different tables, reversing them, trying to get them to look like how it is. But I settled with that one. Another thing that I spent ages doing is with the vintage glamour lamp, putting crystals in, other pieces of metal to create the base of it, which is something that I kind of want to do again. And then another main feature that divides the living room and the dining area is this fireplace. So in the actual house, the fireplace is open, obviously, but I've put the windows around it so you could still see it, and I used that coffee table, I think from City Living, which has got a fire in it. But when it's lit up, it looks accurate to the build. And then those coffee tables that I've used for the actual coffee table, really like how those four look together. And I think that actually is in the miscellaneous surfaces, not as a table, but I think they look really nice together. Different type of coffee table, especially when you put the four of them together, it works really well. And then now I'm just doing some clutter for the side tables. Literally every surface in our home had clutter. So yeah, it took a lot of time, but looked really nice, I think. And they struggled with the rugs. She used a lot of like antique Moroccan style rugs, and I think there's one in Get Famous that would work, but I don't have that pack yet. So maybe one day when I get it, I'll go in and edit this build and replace it with more accurate rugs. This sort of entrance table, she has a picture of her dog, who's you see in the video as well. And again, more books, and yeah, she had this record player on the other side, so managed to find that gramophone. I sized up some of the CDs so they would look like records. And more plants. She had a massive plant in the living room, which unfortunately I didn't have one that was quite as big. And the dining table, that's something else I spent ages deliberating over. Yeah, so I come back and I change it to a different table, different chairs a few times. And again, I've used the same trick here where I reversed an end table. So these ones are from laundry day that I put down together to look more like a sleek sideboard. And then by reverse them, you don't see the laundry stuff inside. And coming up here, as well as the paintings, she points out a collection of crystals. So I sized up some of the pedestals from Get to Work, and then sized down the crystals and pink metals to make it look like that. So I thought that was quite a nice detail that I was able to put in. And you'll see now I put a couple of two of the vases together with the flowers, and recreating some of the things in her home are some design elements that I've noticed that I'm putting in my build afterwards now, that I would never have tried to do if it wasn't for that, doing this build. But yeah, some of the clutter items that I've managed to come up with, really, really like how they are. And I don't know if you saw I put a TV in. I don't think there was a TV or a laptop, but I've put those in just because they're functional to use in the gameplay. And now onto the kitchen, but you might have noticed at the beginning of the build, I actually started plotting out the kitchen units. And the reason for that is to get a scale of the size, you can sort of work the kitchen unit size because they're standard sizing. So I was able to work out the size of that room quite easily and then work out the size of the other rooms off that. And then what I'm doing, she has this little plant pot that's shaped like a face, and it has plants growing out of it. So by using that mannequin from Get to Work, I was just placing plants in his little head to try and create that same effect. And again, that's something I would never ever have thought of using before, but how it's come out, I quite like it. And it looks amazing in a home as well. I don't think the colours of the units are quite right. It's a much more softer green that she used in her kitchen. But yeah, I was able to do the best that I can. I thought it was more important to have the white worktops because those work really nice. And she makes a point of pointing out the limes that she has on her bowl and how much she loves limes. So I used the avocados from Jungle Adventure and put them in the carver bowl. So yeah, hopefully that creates the right look. But yeah, like I said, there's lots of details that I really wanted to put in because she points them out in the house tour that she does. And yeah, makes a point. Again, there's more rugs. I wouldn't personally put a rug in the kitchen, but that's what she had, and it does look really, really nice. And I don't know if you can see, but around by the stairwell, there's some asparagus on the floor. That's because in one of the photos that, or in the video with Architectural Digest, the kitchen table had like some gardening things that she pulled out of the ground, and I thought the asparagus created that look. So I found it in the debug catalogue and just left it there and kept moving it around, and in the end I didn't even use them. So yeah, but that's why there's some random asparagus just on the floor. The debug catalogue is obviously amazing, but it takes ages to find things, so if I find them I just put them to one side. So if you do stick around for future builds and you're wondering why there's random things everywhere, it's because I found them in the debug catalogue and I didn't want to lose them again. I really should save a room with all my favourite items, but the thing is, because you don't know for each build what it is that you're going to need, I always find that I end up going back and you can't clone debug items. So yeah, I just tend to do it that way instead. And again, another rug that I'm struggling to find the right style rug. And then also by the sort of utility area, I put the giant crystal. That's something else she points out in the video. There's me trying to put the asparagus in and deciding against that and using a picture, and I sized down some melons to look like limes, ready to make drinks. And you might have seen a few moments ago, I actually changed the dining table like I said I would. I think I changed the chairs later on after I find think it's the fitness stuff pack. The chairs suit the table better, which is the fitness table anyway. Yeah, so I'm doing more cutlery on the shelves and more paintings, more books. So yeah, lots of books and lots of paintings everywhere. And after this kitchen table area, I think then we're on to the territory of rooms where I couldn't find many pictures of, so it's a bit of guesswork. So like this bathroom, there definitely weren't any pictures of it. So I found a picture of the main bedroom ensuite bathroom. So then I kind of based the other two bathrooms off that design. But yeah, like I said, it's complete guesswork. The utility area is also complete guesswork. Again, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but in the UK, the utility room tends to be the similar style of the units in the kitchen, just maybe like cheaper worktops or a cheaper version of it because it's your harder working area. So yeah, but I still put in the same finish in and then just cluttered it with a lot of the items from the laundry day stuff pack. So yeah, complete guesswork, like I said, but I can't imagine there's anything too exciting there, otherwise they would have featured it in the article or the video. They don't really feature the bedroom, her main bedroom, in the video either, but they do have one picture of it in the article on the Architectural Digest website. And then I based the floor off a picture of when Ryan Murphy lived there, and it was a cork floor in the upstairs. But then when I reread the article, I realised that they took out the cork flooring, so that's why it's that colour. But I don't think that's accurate to what is actually there in her house now. And then yeah, so the bathroom, I found one picture of the bathroom, so that was trying to analyze it to work out if I was getting the right layout. She makes a point in the article of saying that having two sinks is the key to a successful relationship, so she wanted to make sure that she had those two sinks, vanity units, so get her and I'm guessing Chris Martin don't argue over the sinks. And I think there was a window here. Again, I was pretty much guessing. I was struggling to find a single pane window. And then I had just gotten Get Together expansion pack. So luckily that window, although it had that white block on the outside, I thought it kind of suited the mid-century style of the rest of the house. So yeah, I was really, really happy with that. It's quite funny that it's only a 3-bedroom house, but it's actually, and so I didn't think it would take up much space. I wouldn't need a big lot. But although it is 3 bedrooms, it's long and it's spread out, so it works almost like a bungalow because it's got, although it's got 2 levels, they don't really overlap that much. So yeah, I ended up using the largest lot, so 64 by 64. And yeah, the bathroom, I'm really pleased with how it did come out. I was guessing a bit about these units there. I could see something in the reflection that looked similar to cabinets. So I used the lockers from Spa Day and then just added plants to the top. But I like the bath in the middle of the room and the little table with the towel and soap dish next to it. I thought that ended up quite nice. Yeah, and I struggle with beds in Sims 4 to get a nice, stylish bed. Oh, this is where I'm changing the very quickly changing the chairs at the dining table. I put a lounger in. There is actually, it's more of a taller chair, but there's nothing really like that in at least not in the items that I have in Build By. So I ended up using the lounger. And then these side tables. And again, struggling to find the right rugs. I go through lots of them. And that's the one I settled on. And yeah, this part of the room, completely no idea what was there, so I was completely guessing. Ended up using these Spa Day kitchen counter cabinets. and I went to make a sort of media centre, and I yeah, really like. I think they work with the wall paneling that I used for the walls, and yeah, happy with that entertainment system. I think really suits the room. And now I move on to creating a sort of bespoke dressing table. The dressing tables that came with Vintage Glamour, I didn't really think suited the style of the house at all. They tend to be a bit more ornate, and this is a bit, the lines are cleaner throughout the rest of the house. So I used this end table from Fitness Stuff, and put some mirrors there to create that same effect. And yeah, and then I put a little reading area just because she's got so many books and it's in front of the TV, so I thought it would make sense either for watching TV or for reading. And then I move on to this little hallway. Again, no pictures of it, but I figured I'd put a chess table there just to have some sort of skill building. There's no, obviously you can add things in really easily, but there's no easel or anything else. And then again, I added this dressing room area only because I saw a picture of one. It doesn't really serve as functional, and you don't need it for your Sims to change their appearance if you want. But yeah, so I thought I would add it just because I had the picture and I wanted to create as much as I could that was accurate. But yeah, so and then I added another little bookshelf again, so she would have a workable, usable bookshelf in game close to the chairs in case you wanted that. More rugs. I really wish I had got Get Famous ready for this, because the rugs that come with that would have been much better. And then this is a guest bedroom, secondary bedroom. Again, complete guesswork because there was no pictures of it. But I tried to do something that was similar to the style, but a little bit different. So you can see there. And then the ensuite, I think I leave out for that one, just because it wasn't necessary. But you'll see pictures if you find this on the gallery. But yeah, it's very similar to the original master suite bathroom. And then now, so there's a hot tub outside the ensuite bathroom. So yeah, trying to recreate that. I used the steam grate from Get Together. So yeah, I was quite glad that I got that just in time for this build. And I used these seats from Outdoor Retreat and sized them down to create that. It's not workable if they wanted to use it as a pool, but Sims can't get into it. But they have the lap pool on the lower floor to use that. And then here I'm just adding in the garage. I haven't put access to it, but it was just because it was needed to sort of close off the garden area, and that was more of what I was concerned with, is having the garden area look accurate. So yeah, now I moved on to that. I'm not the best for landscaping, so I really, yeah, I don't like doing gardens that much, but the garden was quite an important part to get right, because there was a lot of detail in it, even though it doesn't look like it. So you can see here I'm taking some debug hedges to wrap around. I really wish there was a taller hedge, because then I could have just put a curved deck that would have worked, and not had those annoying little angular bits sticking out at the bottom. But I managed to hide it with some of those shrubs. And then now, yeah, she has a curved wall. Yeah, I don't really know why I decided to do this build, because there were so many things that were really difficult, but I quite like a challenge, and I find I'm not good at coming up with builds from my imagination, but I do really enjoy trying to figure out how to recreate real life stuff. So that tends to be my strongest point. And then I really enjoy doing things like that, whereas coming up with interesting things by myself I'm really not that good at. So yeah, using a combination of the curved decks, I was able to recreate sort of a curved wall in the garden, but I had to use some grass floor instead of terrain paint. So yeah, that was a bit difficult. I'm using these debug pavers because that's yeah, part of the garden is paved almost exactly like that. So although it was time consuming, it did have the look that I wanted to recreate. And yeah, it was just time consuming. I probably should have cut out a bit of this. I don't know why I left so much. And then what I'm doing here is a trick that I saw on Kate Emerald's tutorial about how to do curved flower beds, but I've used it for a fire pit by using a roof, a round roof, and then making it completely flat. And I just put in the fire pit from Outdoor Retreat. Put those in, and yeah, I don't know why, but there was a sofa that faced the office doors. I put that in, but I have no idea why you would want that there. And now I move on to two chairs that she points out, again in the house tour video. And I think they're meant to be kept indoors and they keep getting ruined, but I was able to combine these two chairs. I think one's from Island Living and one's either from City Living or Base King. But together they worked really, really well. And it's probably something I'm gonna want to use again. I haven't play tested it, so I don't know if your Sims will actually sit in it, if it's two chairs combined together, or they'll just refuse to do it. So I haven't play tested that yet. But as a feature piece or a feature chair, I think it works really well. And that's probably something that I would do again. Definitely not as a workable chair, definitely only as a feature. And then she had, I noticed in one of the pictures with the article, she had the small table and chairs outside the bedroom, so I tried to recreate that. And then there was an outdoor grill and almost like a flower arranging table, but I don't have seasons, so I wasn't able to put that in. But I put in that wooden table that I think is base game, and she has a sort of like herb planter that she points out all her plants are dying. And then this part of the wall, it has these potted plants all along it. So I've cut out a lot of it, but you get the idea. It was basically just lining up these plants on the wall until I reached the end. So that took a lot of time. So yeah, I mean, some of the parts of the build, they weren't complex to do, but they were just time consuming, like the paving stones and these plants and all the clutter. But yeah, I think I got there in the end. And yeah, so the majority of the rest of the video is just landscaping now. So yeah, I don't know how much more I'm going to talk for. Just point out, if you can see the cat headstone, that's because in the house tour video she specifically mentions that in that area her cat chicken is buried, and which sounds a bit macabre to make a point of including it, but she makes a joke out of the fact that she doesn't know why she's mentioning it. So I thought that would be like a little nod to include. You can see I was having trouble here doing this bit of the landscaping because obviously part of it is the floor from the curved deck and you can't delete it. So yeah, just trying to get it to blend with the rest of the terrain paint was quite a challenge. Maybe I should have just done the whole thing as terrain instead of fussing, but yeah, I didn't think of that at the time. And now I'm onto the front paving stones, which again I cut out a lot, but I still decided to show you some more. I don't know why I didn't cut more out. So the garage is not functional. You could easily add a door and make it functional, but I just wanted it for the look. I think I add in a door, or not a door, a divider from Spa Day to make it look like the garage doors, which again is something that I've learned looks quite effective. So I probably use that technique again instead of trying to recreate an actual garage door, finding them in in debug. And then after this, I start putting bamboo around the perimeter of the house. So one of the things that she mentions in the video is that her and her neighbours are arguing about the height of the bamboo. So I wanted to make sure that it was bamboo that I used, besides the blocks of trees and the Spa-Day dividers. And then the rest of the build is just, yeah, adding trees and hedges around the perimeter. So not very interesting. I would just like to say thank you if you've made it this far listening to me ramble on. Hoping I'm going to get better at these voiceovers because I'm certainly not a natural at them. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around, and it means a lot if you could like and subscribe if you enjoyed and you want to see more from me. But hopefully you'll enjoy the screenshots that are to follow. I made sure to include the real life pictures and the screenshots of my build. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you for my next video. Bye!